If you click this video, it means you felt something most traders never admit: the frustration, the doubt, the quiet fear that maybe you're not built for this. You put in effort, you study, you take notes, you watch charts for hours, you watch every strategy breakdown on YouTube. You promise yourself that tomorrow you'll finally be disciplined, and yet somehow you end up in the same loop: overtrading, breaking rules, giving back profits, panicking in drawdown, hating yourself for repeating the same mistakes. And deep down, you've thought about quitting. Maybe once, maybe 100 times, maybe last night. But listen closely. You don't want to quit trading. You want to quit suffering. You want to quit the anxiety. You want to quit the inconsistency. You want to quit the self-sabotage. And that's what this video is for. Because by the end of this, you will understand exactly why 95% of traders quit and what the 5% do differently. The traders who survive, thrive, get funded, withdraw, and stay consistent. This isn't motivation. This is a mirror. Stay with me. This will change how you see yourself as a trader. Let's expose a painful truth. Most traders don't enter trading to build skill. They enter to escape their reality. They hate their job. They hate their paycheck. They want freedom, fast income, a new life. So they approach the market with emotional need, not structure. And the market punishes emotional need with surgical precision. Write this down. If you come to the market hungry, the market will feed on you. The 5%, they come in with a plan, not with desperation. Here's what happens when you enter trading from emotional need. You need money. So every trade becomes life or death. You see a setup that's 70% there. Your rational brain says, wait for confirmation. But your desperate brain says, what if this is the one? What if I miss it? So you enter. And because you enter from desperation, you're already emotionally compromised. Price goes against you. Your heart races. You move your stop. Price goes further. You hold, hoping. It stops you out at the worst possible level. Now you're more desperate. So you take another trade. Same pattern. This is the desperation spiral. And it's the single biggest reason traders blow their accounts in the first 90 days. The 95% need trading to work. They need it to escape their job, prove themselves, make fast money, solve their problems. But need creates pressure, and pressure creates poor decisions. The 5% want trading to work, but they don't need it to. They have stable income elsewhere, long-term perspective, emotional detachment from outcomes, patience to build skills slowly. That detachment is what allows them to execute without desperation. The 95% have a short time horizon. I need to make X in 3 months. I need to quit my job by next year. I need to prove this works quickly. But trading rewards long time horizons. The 5% think in years. I'll spend year 1 building skill. I'll spend year 2 proving consistency. I'll spend year 3 scaling. No rush, no pressure, just systematic growth. And that patience is what separates those who quit from those who compound. If you entered trading for the wrong reasons, you need to reframe. Ask yourself, am I here to escape something, or am I here to build something? If you're escaping, you'll quit when it gets hard. But if you're building, hard times become part of the process. They don't discourage you, they strengthen you. That's the mindset shift the 5% make early. Most traders try to feel their way into consistency. I feel confident today. I feel this trade will work. I don't feel disciplined right now. The market does not care how you feel. The reason 95% quit is simple. They never develop a disciplined identity. But the 5% operate differently. Identity says I only take premium setups. I stop trading when my plan says stop. I don't chase. I don't negotiate with my rules. I execute the same way whether I feel good or bad. Consistency isn't emotional. Consistency is who you become. Here's how feeling-based trading manifests. Monday, you feel good. You're confident. You follow your plan perfectly. You win. Tuesday, still riding the high from Monday. You feel invincible. You start taking marginal setups. You give back Monday's profits. Wednesday, you feel frustrated. You want to get it back. You force trades. You lose more. Thursday, you feel defeated. You skip good setups because you don't feel confident. You miss winners. Friday, you feel desperate. You overtrade trying to end the week green. You blow up. See the pattern? Your emotions are dictating when and how you trade, and emotions are unstable, so your trading is unstable. The 5% don't trade based on feelings. They trade based on identity. Here's the difference. Feeling, I don't feel like following my plan today. Identity. I'm the kind of person who follows their plan. Period. Feeling. I feel like this trade will work. Identity. Does this meet all my criteria? If yes, I take it. If no, I don't. Feeling. I'm frustrated after that loss. Losses are part of my edge. This changes nothing. See? Feelings are negotiable. Identity is not. And that non-negotiable nature is what creates consistency. Here's what the 5% do. They declare their identity, not as something they hope to become, but as something they are. Examples. I am a disciplined trader. I am selective with my setups. I only trade high probability opportunities. I honor my stops without exception. I walk away when my plan says walk away. They say these statements before every session, and then they act from that identity, even when they don't feel like it, especially when they don't feel like it, because that's when identity matters most. Here's how identity solidifies. Every time you act from your declared identity, you reinforce it. I said I'm disciplined, and I just proved it by walking away from that marginal setup. That's evidence. And evidence builds belief. Over time, the identity becomes automatic. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to force it. You just are that person. And that's when consistency becomes effortless. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Most traders don't actually want to trade. They want stimulation. They want dopamine. They want excitement. They want to feel like something is happening. This is why they can't walk away. This is why they force entries. This is why they overtrade. But real trading skill is the opposite of stimulation. Skill is slow. Skill is calm. Skill is boring. Skill is repetition, patience, and discipline. The 95% quit because they mistake excitement for progress. The 5%, they master boredom. They understand that waiting is a weapon. Write this down. If you can't sit still, you can't survive. Let me explain what's happening neurologically. Every time you enter a trade, your brain releases dopamine. Not when you win, when you enter. Because dopamine is the anticipation chemical. Your brain gets a hit just from clicking the button. And over time, you become addicted to that hit. So you start trading not because you see setups, but because you need the dopamine release. This is why you can't stop checking charts. This is why you can't walk away. This is why you trade when you know you shouldn't. You're literally addicted. Here's how to tell if you're chasing stimulation or building skill. Stimulation-based trading, constant chart checking, multiple time frames open, trading every session, can't sit still, feels anxious when not in a trade, measures success by activity, gets bored easily, needs action. Skill-based trading, scheduled chart checking, one time frame focus, trading specific sessions only, comfortable waiting, feels calm when not in a trade, measures success by execution quality, embraces boredom, needs precision. Which describes you? Be honest, because if you're stimulation-based, you'll never build real skill. You'll just keep feeding the addiction until your account is gone. The 5% actively practice boredom tolerance. They do things like once per week, they watch the charts but take 0 trades. They just observe. This trains their nervous system to be okay with inaction. When they see a setup, they force themselves to wait 5 minutes before entering. Often the setup invalidates or the urge passes. Either way, they're training impulse control. They sit with the feeling of boredom. No phone, no entertainment, no escape, just sitting with the discomfort. This builds psychological resilience, because if you can't handle boredom, you can't handle trading. The 95% think progress looks like taking lots of trades, being constantly active, grinding, screen time. The 5% no progress looks like taking fewer, better trades, being strategically inactive, waiting patiently, preparation time. The shift from quantity to quality is what separates them. Anyone can trade when they're winning, but consistency is built in the moments where your chest feels heavy, the unexpected loss, the setup that fails, the week nothing goes right, the day you give back everything, the moment you want to scream, the moment you want to throw your laptop, the moment you think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. This is where the 95% quit. The 5%, they do something different. They normalize psychological discomfort. They understand losses are not punishment, they're information. They don't tie their self-worth to a bad day. They detach from outcomes. They remain objective. This is why they last. Most traders have 0 tolerance for psychological pain. First loss, this is fine. Just variance. Second loss, maybe I need to check my system. Third loss, something's wrong. I need to fix this. Fourth loss, this doesn't work. I'm switching strategies. They interpret pain as a signal to quit. The 5% interpret pain differently. They see it as part of the process, a test of character, information about their psychology, an opportunity to build resilience. Same pain, different interpretation. And that interpretation determines who quits and who continues. Here's the psychological trap. Most traders tie their self-worth to their trading results. Win equals I'm smart, capable, worthy. Loss, I'm stupid, incompetent, worthless. So every loss becomes an identity threat, and identity threats trigger fight or flight, which leads to revenge trading, giving up, but the 5% separate self-worth from results. They know I am not my trades. I am not my P&L. I am not my win rate. I am the person who executes the plan. The outcome is just feedback. That separation is what allows them to take losses without psychological damage. The 5% actively condition themselves to handle pain better. They go into trading knowing, I will have losing days, I will have losing weeks, I will have losing months. This is normal. This is expected. This doesn't mean anything is wrong. Expectation removes surprise, and surprise is what amplifies pain. Instead of, this loss means I'm failing, they think, this loss is tuition for the lesson I'm learning. The reframe changes everything. After difficult days, they journal. What am I feeling right now? Why is this bothering me? What belief is being challenged? What can I learn from this? Processing prevents suppression, and suppression leads to explosions. They don't start trading $10 accounts. They start small, where losses hurt less, and they build psychological tolerance before scaling up, because pain tolerance is like muscle. It grows through exposure. The 5% aren't superhuman. They feel the same pain as everyone else. The difference is they've built the capacity to feel pain without reacting, to sit with discomfort without quitting, to let psychological pressure flow through them instead of controlling them. That's resilience, and resilience is the ultimate edge. Let me be direct. If your trading depends on how the market looks today, you don't have a system. You have vibes, and vibes do not pay bills. The 5% have a written plan, entry criteria, exit criteria, stop criteria, daily stop limit, time boundaries, session structure, weekly reviews, journaling, emotional tracking. They treat trading like a business. That's why they survive. The structure deficit. Most traders operate in chaos. They wake up, they open charts, they look for setups, they take whatever looks good, they hope it works. No plan, no criteria, no boundaries, and they wonder why they're inconsistent. But inconsistency isn't a mystery. It's the natural result of chaotic behavior. You can't be consistent without consistent process. What real structure looks like. The 5% have documented systems. Here's what that means. Pre-session, morning routine, meditation, review, planning. Bias definition. What's the daily 4H structure? Level identification. Where will I trade? Criteria checklist. What must exist for entry? Risk calculation. How much per trade? During session, waiting protocol. What do I do while waiting? Entry checklist, all criteria met. Execution protocol, stop, target, confirmation. Management rules, when do I adjust? Exit protocol, hit, stop, target, close platform. Post session, trade journal, setup, execution, emotion. Performance tracking, win rate, RR, mistakes. Pattern identification, what's working, not working. Tomorrow's preparation, levels, bias, focus. Weekly, full performance review. Behavioral analysis, system refinement, goal setting. See the difference? Everything is structured. Everything is repeatable. Everything is measurable. That's what creates consistency. The power of boundaries. The 5% don't just have rules for entering. They have rules for everything. Time boundaries. I trade 9:11 a.m. only. If no setup by 11, I'm done for the day. Risk boundaries. Max 1% per trade, max 3% per day, max 10% per month. Quantity boundaries. Max 2 trades per session, max 10 trades per week. Psychological boundaries. If I feel emotional, I step away. If I break a rule, I'm done for the day. If I hit losing streak threshold, I pause. These boundaries aren't restrictions. They're protection from themselves. The documentation advantage. Here's something most traders miss. The 5% document everything, not just trades, everything. What they were thinking before entering, what they were feeling during the trade, what triggered emotional responses, what worked and what didn't, what patterns they're noticing. This documentation creates accountability, awareness, learning improvement. Without documentation, you're trading blind. With it, you're building a database of self-knowledge. And self-knowledge is what allows systematic improvement. This is the part you clicked for. These are the exact behaviors that separate the 5% from the rest. Study them, memorize them, live by them. One, they master one strategy deeply. The 95% jump around. New strategy every week, new indicator every month, new guru every quarter. The 5%, they pick one approach and they master it for years. They know that mastery beats variety, depth beats breadth, specialization beats generalization. They become experts in one specific edge. And that expertise compounds into consistent profit. 2, they control their environment. The 5% are obsessive about environment. Their charts are clean, one time frame, minimal indicators, clear levels, no clutter. Their workspace is organized, dedicated trading space, no distractions, everything in its place. Their mental environment is managed, no news, no social media during session, no outside influences, because they know clean environment equals clean mind equals clean execution. 3, they track their emotional triggers. The 5% know exactly when they trade impulsively, after losses, after wins, when bored, when they overtrade, Fridays, after missing moves, when they break rules, when tired, when stressed, when they lose discipline, after consecutive losses. They've mapped their psychology like a scientist maps data, and that map allows them to predict or prevent their own self-sabotage. 4, they detach from outcomes. One trade is irrelevant, one loss is irrelevant, one win is irrelevant. The 5% measure themselves on, did I follow my plan? Did I honor my rules? Did I stay emotionally regulated? Not, did I make money? Because they know good process plus time equals good outcomes, but focusing on outcomes destroys the process. 5, they master the art of waiting. The 5% have redefined what trading means. To most, trading's entering positions. To the 5%, trading equals waiting for the right position. They spend 90% of their time waiting, and they're completely comfortable with it because they know the market rewards patience more than any technical skill. 6, they think like risk managers, not hunters. The 95% hunt for trades. Where can I get in? What's the next move? Where's the opportunity? The 5% manage risk. How much can I lose on this? What's my maximum downside today? Am I risking too much relative to my account? This shift from hunting to managing is what allows long-term survival. 7, they build routines that enforce discipline. The 5% don't rely on motivation. They rely on routine. Morning routine sets the tone for the day, creates mental clarity, prepares them psychologically. Session routine eliminates decisions in the moment. Everything is predetermined. Evening routine processes the day, extracts lessons, resets for tomorrow. These routines run on autopilot, so discipline becomes automatic. Beyond behaviors, the 5% think differently. Here are the mental shifts that separate them. From I need to win to I need to execute well. Winning is outside your control. Execution is inside your control. Focus on what you control. From trading is hard to trading is simple, but not easy. The concepts are simple. The execution is hard. Don't confuse the two. From I'm trying to make money to I'm trying to build skill. Money is the byproduct. Skill is the goal. Build the skill, money follows automatically. From I hope this works to I trust my system. Hope is not a strategy. Trust is built through data and repetition. Prove your system works, then trust it. From I'm behind to I'm exactly where I need to be. Comparison kills consistency. Your journey is your journey. Stop measuring yourself against others. From I can't afford to lose to losses are part of my edge. If you can't accept losses, you can't trade profitably. Losses aren't failures. They're statistical necessities. From I need more knowledge to I need more discipline, you probably have enough knowledge. What you lack is the discipline to apply it consistently. Stop learning, start executing. Here's the real difference. It's not IQ, it's not talent, it's not indicators, it's not luck. The 5% don't quit because trading isn't their escape. It's their craft, their discipline, their growth, their identity. The 95% quit when it gets painful. The 5% rise because of the pain. The purpose difference. The 95% trade for something, money, freedom, status, validation. So when they don't get it quickly, they quit. The 5% trade is something, an expression of discipline, a test of character, a practice of mastery, a vehicle for growth. So even when results are slow, they continue because the process itself is valuable. the long-term orientation, the 95% think in weeks and months. How quickly can I make this work? The 5% think in years and decades. How good can I become over a lifetime? That shift in time horizon changes everything, because now setbacks aren't failures. They're just data points on a very long journey. And now that you've heard this, you have a choice. Right now, this moment. You either continue operating like the 95%, or you step into the identity of the 5%. Rule-based, calm, patient, controlled, disciplined, structured, objective. It won't happen someday. It happens now. Trade by trade, decision by decision, identity shift by identity shift. Ask yourself, am I willing to do what the 5% do? Not just once, but every day, for years, without guarantee of success, without instant results, without external validation. If the answer is yes, you can make it. If the answer is no, save yourself the pain and quit now. But if the answer is, I don't know, but I'm willing to find out, then that's enough. Because willingness is all you need to start. This is why the 5% win. Not because they're smarter, not because they're luckier, but because they built themselves differently, from the ground up, with structure, discipline, patience, and pain tolerance. And starting today, you can join them. Not by hoping, not by wishing, but by becoming. Becoming someone who follows rules without negotiation, waits without anxiety, loses without spiraling, wins without arrogance, executes without emotion. That's the identity of the 5%, and it's available to you right now if you choose it. If you want the next step, the routines and psychological frameworks that help you stay consistent, click the video on your screen. And if you want to go deeper into these topics, join our free Telegram community in the description. If you want to work with us privately, send us a DM on any of our socials. That's it. I hope you liked the video.